Happy New Year, fitness professionals. This is Deborah Atkinson, founder of The Voice for Fitness, and you're listening to the Voice for Fitness Professionals podcast, where I help you with marketing and sales. So it's easy, simple, even fun, and not sleazy. And we're going to dive in today to this super short audio that is super helpful, I hope, in helping you really target and hit, basically connect with your ideal customer in everything that you're doing this month. So if you're like most businesses, your last 2 weeks have been part of the busiest 2 weeks of the year promoting your programs. That was the chance to really get a head start. And if you didn't start the 1st of November, the way I recommend that you do in planning your content in order to whet people's appetite and be the website, the business that's found when people are really ready to do it in January, the next best time to do it is 2 weeks out. And if you haven't done that, right now, you're in the heat of the moment. And I know this is typical of so many of the businesses and the entrepreneurs, the personal trainers who are out there. You're feeling sometimes optimistic, you love your job, and sometimes pessimistic about the fact that you are constantly chasing your tail. You're delivering sessions, you're planning programs, you're putting in so much extra time toward one simple exchange of an hour for $1 that you can't get ahead and you can't get to the next thing. So if you're in that, realize you're not alone, that everyone has experienced that kind of climate today. The world is on Mach speed, and yet we've all got to be putting out a good, high quality message on social media. So no matter if you have people walking in the door, the way they're connecting with you and reading, finding out about new programs is probably not inside your facility as much as it's on their phone, because they're only in your club, maybe 3 times, 5 times a week if you're lucky. And maybe this month that's true, but that's going to fall off. And where they will have the opportunity to connect with you is online, those other 23 hours of the day. Or, let's face it, a lot of people are not coming in for an hour every day. And do they need to? Probably not. But you understand what I'm saying is they're much more connected to you all day, every day, if you let them be, if you're giving them great content. So making sure that what you send out as a message resonates with them is really important. So my guess is you're already sending out emails, you're already putting up posts, and you are potentially, and I'm hoping, doing video so that you can connect with them better, because it is the #2 search engine, has been for about 5 to 8 years. And it's time to jump on that bandwagon if you're not doing it yet. But here's what I'm finding, and big mistakes that make big differences. So if you can resurrect this, change it going forward. And even right now, if you've got some emails scheduled, go back through them. Make sure you haven't committed this mistake. Even today, with a very organized summit provider who is inviting me to be a guest on her summit, and I'm fatigued from summits, but I have to be honest, I was really impressed with the outline that she gave and the unique spin and twist on the materials that she's providing and the way that she's going to do her summit, such that it made me want to participate and apply. But one thing that she did that almost turned me off and stopped me from reading before I even got below the second sentence was the way she started. Hi, everyone. I hope that all of you had a happy new year or great holidays. And then she went on to blah, blah, blah to fill us in on the details of the summit. So right off the bat, I'm not everyone. I'm not all of you. I'm just me. One, you is the appropriate word here. So be sure that you know that YOU is the most powerful word that you could ever use in marketing, because you are connecting to your client, the one client. Now, somebody may have somebody looking over their back or their shoulder as they're reading their email, I suppose. But in reality, you want to be in your mind writing to one person. If you deal and want to train older adults, for instance, I mean, think about who is your ideal target? Who are they like? What do they read? What do they watch? And ideally, think about somebody in your life that is them. Maybe it's a client you already have, or maybe it's your mom. Think about writing a letter or a note, an email to mom. And how would you write that? So, no, of course, you're not going to use her name. You're going to use you. But everything you write will be about the level of understanding that she would have about what it is you're talking about. Everything you write will be about what you know she very likely knows, what myths she might very likely still believe in, what habits she probably is trying to break or to start. You already know those things about your mom, really, and that's the idea, is you want to know your avatar, is what we call it, your target client, that well. So you want to leave words like everyone and all of you out. Yes, in your head, you might be thinking that, but here's what I'm suggesting, that it hurts your message as you deliver it, even if you're thinking that. You don't want to make a broad sweep and talk to everyone. You want to be talking to that one person because it will resonate with everyone standing beside her who's very like her. All of her friends are going to be just like her, and they're going to be attracted to what it is you're saying. Realize that one person is reading or watching or listening to the content that you're providing, just like you are right now. Now, I'm guessing you're probably not sitting in a conference room listening to this with your staff members. It's in your earbud, and you're listening to it while you're driving or you're walking or you're lifting. That's at least how I catch up on podcasts that I don't want to miss, or even webinars. I'll play them while I'm doing some weight training across the room. But realize that it's really important. It's a minor detail, potentially, but it can have a big impact on how much you connect and how personal the message feels to someone watching, listening, or reading. So, second big thought for today is this: make sure that you're taking advantage in the future in 2018. You're taking advantage of 3 phases of starting a new program. Let's say you have this month, this is January, or if you're listening in a later month, let's say on the first of the month, you have a program starting. And maybe you run that program every month, or maybe you just run it 4 times a year, seasonally. The point is, you know that program is coming, and you don't want to wait until just the week before to begin marketing it. You want to begin to write blogs or articles about what it is that's important for people who are unaware that they need to be in your program, that would benefit from it. Write something to the problem that they have, that they do know they need to solve. They just don't know you yet are the solution. Write to their problem in a way that they feel like, oh my gosh, somebody gets me. And think of what I did when I opened this podcast. Hopefully that connected with you a little bit. That I understand exactly where you're at. You're in the thick of it. You know you need to market, but you're so busy going from session to session and then creating the programs between sessions and then trying to go about your life with your family and your friends, maybe your kids, your other volunteer work, your other work, that you find yourself brain dead when you finally do have time to work on your marketing, or just simply you're out of time. And when it's a frustrating thing or a brand new thing, and it takes some creative, thoughtful time, it takes some diving into. It's not necessarily that you can sit down and create a strategy. You could sit down and create a flyer, right? And you could sit down and you could create a really quick blog, but it may not have any strategy behind it. You may not be thinking about, what are the links that you can link to in other blogs and other articles? What are the programs that this would be leading to? Why am I writing this blog in the first place? Who am I really trying to target? I mean, that has a strategy to it. And what have I given this reader before this? And what am I going to give them after this that will lead them even closer to wanting to buy my program, to become a member so that they can solve this problem for once and for all? That's really strategy. The kind of communication that goes beyond a one-off, meaning you post a flyer and say, hey, we have new program starting, register now. That's kind of cold, going from here it is, pay me, instead of leading somebody down the path. So you're going to find a percentage of people, but it's very small. Maybe 15% of people are already looking around, ready to buy, waiting. Where's the right program? I want to do this. But 85% of people are slower in decision making. They're not ready. When you think of the readiness scale or the readiness questionnaire, that part Q, may or may not be, or the readiness scale of, where are you? Are you thinking about it? Are you ready to dive in? Are you already there? That's really very valuable for you to think about. Where is that client? Somebody in your immediate family, I'm betting, or your immediate circle of friends that you wish would get started, that you could help. So occasionally you're going to want to write to that person. And these are the before things, before your program. You're going to write to, people, yes, who are ripe, but you're going to need to write less to them because they're just going to do it if you find them and post it so they see it and know it. But those people who make their decisions a little bit more slowly, they might have to see this for a couple of months. And that's why you're going to do a before your program, and then you're going to do a during to, both let people from the outside know what's happening with the people on the inside, and to, provide some updates and maybe an awareness of a little internal competition for those people who you're serving that are in your programs going through it. And then you want to start priming them because they're super excited right now. They're starting to see results, feel better about themselves. You want to prime them for testimonials. That's part of your after. So when people finish your programs, you want to make sure you're following up with them. And this is where, unless you have something automated in place, very few fitness pros are doing this. And it's the people who do that win. Reconnecting with people who, bought a certain product 3 months ago or 6 months ago. I mean, maybe if it's a boot camp or a class, they want to come back because they fell off the bandwagon. They're not doing it themselves like they thought they would. So you need to reach out and you need to have something in place so you don't just do this randomly when you think about it, but you have a trigger on your calendar, or you have them on a list that automatically says, hey, we'd love to have you back. Take 10% off your next registration. We're opening the doors soon for this next class. That's the after. And the after also includes testimonials that you're getting from those people who are in or just finishing the program and what they love about it. And you're going to use questions that you feed them with so that you get the right answer. And you don't get them preaching or teaching or including any negatives about your program, but it's all very positive, and it's down the line of thinking that you want them to use. So really, really important that you've got a before, a during, and an after sequence of blogs, articles, emails going out for every program that you offer. And yes, if you're under a big umbrella, you serve a lot of people, you have a lot of things going on, you need to have a lot of individual email lists. You don't send these out to one big bulk list because that's a quick way to burn out your list, and they will unsubscribe and never end up buying from you because they don't hear from you often enough about programs that are relevant to them. So get these lists segmented, send the right and the appropriate things just to them as they're going through it. These things, as small as they may seem, ultimately are big in getting a start. So commit to one of them, either on one side of, working on tweaking your emails and your messages so you don't have any, hey, everybody, or hey, all of you. Because remember that one person at a time is reading, looking at a post, an email, and a blog, or watching a video, listening to a podcast. And two, on the flip side, look at where have you got these things in place before, during, and after the programs that you're offering. And ideally, yes, it's automated. But if maybe a first step is just that you're doing it, even if it's not automated, and you come to class the last day and ask a series of testimonial questions with your phone and them against the wall that you can then use, and you start doing that at the end of every class. If you haven't been doing it, that's one step in the right direction. And watch how much testimonials matter to your group. So if you have questions based on an idea, or you have an idea and something that's really working for you, I'd love to hear it. So share your comments below the podcast today at fitnessmarketingmastery.com. And there are other ways that I can help you. So if you would like to be a guest on fitnessmarketingmastery.com's blog in an interview style, or the Voice for Fitness Professionals podcast right here, talking about your business, even getting live coaching about your business and what would be the next step, what you've done that's been working really well, what's been successful for you, and what do you think those traits are, how much you've grown. We'll talk about that and share with our listeners what you're going through and literally give you some coaching online about how you can move the needle the biggest amount with the smallest single step that could take you to the next level. So I look forward to your comments, and until then, make a big difference.